What's going on, family? This is the guys' table, and I'm here with some great gentlemen. Y'all go ahead and introduce yourself.
It is.
Yo, this is Mr. Impact. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ro. I thought you was gonna go first, and then I was just like, he ain't moving, so let's go.
Got it. You got it, big man. You got
Excited,
it, King.
excited.
You got it, King. Go ahead.
All right. Yo, what's going on, family? You're here with Mr. Impact once again. We're trying to, you know, get past this holiday and, just get back to real life. That's what we're doing. And so I'm glad to be here with you guys and let's get into it.
Smooth, smooth. All right, everybody. It is your one and only. It is Rotastic here, y'all. You can be able to follow me on my TikTok under Ro_tastic, y'all. So really appreciate y'all just being here, blessing us with y'all presence. We definitely don't take it for granted by any means. Hopefully, in return, we could be able to give you all some good value, some good entertainment along with the process. So looking forward to the new year. Thank y'all for being able to bless us with y'all presence. Let's get into it.
All right, all right, all right. We got some interesting topics today, guys, and you guys already know your boy Drake the Reaper here getting it done with these extraordinary gents. And guys, yes, it is January whatever day 2026, and I'm excited to be here with y'all fellas, man. I'm excited to see you guys make it through another year, and I'm excited to see what this year holds for us, man. I definitely think we definitely have some prosperous days coming ahead of us. We finished off the year with a bang, no pun intended. If you guys haven't watched the last podcast, we were talking about impact and Mr. Impact and the whole incident. If you guys missed that podcast, tune into that one. But definitely, some of us ended off the year with a bang. Some of us ended off the year with tears or whatever the case is, or excitement or whatever. Like how did you end off the year, Ro?
And to be honest with you, I started out the year well. I ended out. I said started off. That's what I said. My apologies. I ended off the year well because
2025, 2025.
yeah, I ended out the year well because had I not shed all of the things that I had to shed, like no telling what the new year would actually be. No telling what my mindset would be. So I'm actually in a great mind space, man. So I'm thankful for it. Thankful for it.
Can you briefly describe the things that you had to shed, not necessarily
Oh man,
get
relations.
deep into it, but just like
Relate. Hey, I'll tell people straight up. I'll
relationship.
tell people relate straight up. I'm transparent. I like to be vulnerable with people. It's relations, man, because
Okay,
that's
so
at the end of it.
relationships.
Yeah, man, it's all about people. Life is all about people, right? And what people got to understand is that you need meaningful relationships to thrive. You
Got
need
you.
not to mention
Sorry,
not only
guys,
do you
I
need
had to grab my
relationships,
cup.
but you need reciprocity. So there has to be a equal equivalency of substance being exchanged, equally. And if it no longer serves you, it's going to derail you from getting to higher heights and to really get to your purpose and get to your fulfillment. So when you have enough discernment, you
Got
start
you.
to acknowledge that. So yeah, man,
I like that
so like it's
paradox.
all money ain't good money,
I like
you
that
know.
paradox. What about you, Kish? How did you? I mean, well, you came on here, but I want to hear. People need to hear for themselves. Like, how did you end it off the year, and how was 2025 for you?
I think perspective is everything. So, you know, um, you know, I'm, I ended off the year with a bang. As we shared on the previous podcast,
Check that podcast out,
my
guys.
son, got into an accident, his first accident. So it was a couple of days before Christmas. So, that definitely, when the vehicles collided, it was a bang. And
No pun
like I said,
intended.
from a positive perspective, yeah, from a positive perspective, thank God that, everybody made it out okay and everybody's good. And, this is
Facts.
how life is, you know what I'm saying? Um, we're doing what we're doing, and then in the midst of that, life happens. That's how it works, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, like I said, I'm glad that we're here and everything, turned out okay. You could always replace, you know,
Material things.
vehicles and material things, but
Mm.
you can't replace, individuals. So I'm
Glad you're
grateful
here,
and
Kish.
thankful that we made it through and everything
Mm.
is it is what it is. And other than that, like I said, the holidays are what the holidays are. Like you spend a lot of money, you you you're going through a lot of money.
How much money you say you spend this Christmas just on gifts? Just on gifts. What would you say? Ballpark.
Lord, Lord, like probably like about I would say we probably spent like about a couple grand, a few grand on
Woo!
gifts.
Just on gifts.
I'm sure.
Wow.
I'm sure.
What about you, bro?
I'm sure.
Man.
That
Woo!
boy, that boy's selfish. Look at him. He's selfish. He ain't.
Mm,
He's
man.
selfish. He's selfish.
I'm gonna have to check the checkbook, boy. Man. Man, like, oh gosh, I done lost count. I done lost count.
Mm.
It
I done
happens.
lost
It
count.
happens. That's the time of the year. You work
Ye-
hard and then, at the end of the year you have your loved ones and it's just what it is.
Yeah, I think
You
I
know.
spent about roughly, man, honestly and truly, probably on gifts. I say, man, probably like $150, probably $200
Oh
on Chris
yeah?
on Christmas gifts. Yep.
Is that why you moved so far away? So your gifts can be minimal.
Bro, it's the most beautiful thing ever. Nah, but honestly, truly, like it just been one of those years, man, of just doing a whole lot. And I think the greatest thing about just like always giving throughout the year, it makes it easier when Christmas time comes. We're like, what do you want? I don't know. Oh, okay, well, here. It makes it so much more easier instead of just waiting for a year. That's why I tell people I don't like to celebrate. I don't like to wait for one special time of the year to give people things. I give throughout the year, throughout the months, throughout the weeks, whatever the case is. And then it all depends on what your scenario is and depends on what you want at the time. Yes, baby. All right, 1 second. 1 second.
I absolutely agree with that. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with that. Let I absolutely agree with that. That I believe in giving gifts throughout the year.
Yeah.
Because like I don't believe in
So
just gifts for the
it
holidays,
makes it
but it
easier
it
if
happens.
if everybody out there want tips, like don't wait till the end of the year to give people the really big gifts. You do it throughout the year. If you got to do something for them, if you got to pay for their car note, or if you got to pay for they rent, mortgage, or whatever the case is, do it throughout the year. So by the time the end of the year comes, is Christmas is like, okay, we're just here for the coffees and the Macy's parade or whatever the case is, or the ball dropping or whatever the case is. But I think a lot of time people need to focus on just giving throughout the year. That makes it easier throughout for Christmas time.
No, I
100%.
agree. I could see that. I
Solid.
could see that.
All right, guys. So listen, we're gonna talk about today, guys. We got three. We're gonna jump on three different topics today, guys. But we're gonna keep it all concise. Like I said, we're just male leaders in our family. We're trying to help you guys, try to give you guys some good doctrines and stuff like that. Just giving you guys from our bird eye view of what our perspective is, and nothing too particular. We're not trying to get nobody kicked off of here, so we're trying to keep it PG as much as we can. But sometimes we get a little bit unfiltered. So
Oh,
we- so we're gonna segue into roll real fast, So, like I said, we're gonna talk about the three things we're gonna be talking about today to make sure to give some of you A-type personalities out there some insight of what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about just how to build a relationship. As you become older, how to build relationships with other people and to maintain those relationships. And we're gonna try to give you guys some strategies, some tips, and we're gonna talk about how to circum like on under like being like if you get like um well I'm trying not to misuse the word here, but how to get rejected if that be the case,
how do
and
you deal
just
with it? How you go?
right, and just dealing with the rejections, and the last but not least, just how to build good habits, guys. So we're going to talk about some things like that, and going into 2026, man. Hopefully this is helpful for some of you guys, and we're gonna dive in
Yeah.
with Ro.
All right, so let's gotta give it up to the main man right there, boy. Listen, he be doing his thing, y'all. That dude right there. Listen.
Who, Kish?
Well, no, I'm talking about you, bro, Drake.
Uh, oh, Kish is the
Yeah.
older one. He got to take the credit for everything. He's the older one.
Okay, so it done trickled on
Nah,
down.
nah.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
this
He's
stuff
a,
just trickled on down.
I'm here hoping to
it's like the
learn something.
juice. On the side of the leg. It
I'm
just
here
comes straight down. You know. You know
hoping to learn something. So you guys
you
teach
know
me
at
something.
nighttime when you go to the bathroom, you run, you're like, I missed it. You like, what's that on the side of the leg? You're like, God.
Hey, that's so true, bro. I swear, I'm like, damn, I couldn't hold it.
God damn, pathetic. You manage yourself.
Messy ass.
You wake up the next
You
day
guys are a
pissed.
mess.
But
You guys are a mess.
what I would say though, I think, especially me being the age of 30 right now, I think um one thing I do really want to kind of bring to the surface is because I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine. He's around the same age as me. I was on live streaming on TikTok, and he was just like, "Man," I was telling him about like when it came down to rejection. He was like, "Oh man, you should love the word no," and I was like, "Damn." It reminded me about the older days coming up playing sports and all these different things, or even be doing sales, when it was like, oh, we live for no's because that means we're gonna get closer to a yes. And not to
Hmm.
mention you're building up enough tough skin, which is the calluses, so therefore you got enough repetition in you. So now not only are you building confidence, you're going to now, the numbers are going to start to work out in your favor.
Hmm.
So if we want to call it the universal law of some sort, or whatever the case might be, through repetition, it's like now you used to shoot
Is
10
it?
for one, now you're getting 5 for 1, or even, you know 3 for 1. Like your numbers, your probabilities of landing a sale or being able to make an
I
impression or
call it
close it.
building the repertoire. The more you do it, is the more you build that muscle.
100%, 100%. So it's like it's one of those things where when we're talking about self mastery, they say it takes about anywhere between 10,000 hours to get to that level of self mastery in anything. So if it's self, business,
I
training,
say a
whatever
little
the
bit
case.
more than that. I say about
Oh, for
20.
sure, for sure.
Yeah.
No, but 10,000 is just the starting point. 10,000 is like, okay, you're getting your feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's definitely tiers to it, but $10,000 is like
A lot of
the
time people ask me like, how do I build my back like that? And I said, this is my 150 billion reps. And they be like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Sorry to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good. You're good. And no, it's for real. Is That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
You
it's a
know.
muscle. It's a muscle.
And
Rejection is also part of a feedback. It's a feedback pool.
now imagine. So the reason why I want to harp on the rejection aspect and me being young is because I think far too often a lot of young folks are, especially when I'm conversing with people on live streams, especially the younger ones, they are distraught by rejection because of one thing that transpired 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago. And I'm like, how old are you, young lady?
Mm.
25. I was like, oh my gosh, something at 20, something at 19, something at 18. And you're just like, no. I'm like, wow. Guys
Do
are
you
the same
think?
thing. But
Yeah, but but real fast. Do you think that's because the 25-year-old never got enough of rejection when they was like in their teens from their parents? Do you think that's
that's
a?
exactly what it is. They didn't
Mm,
have enough reference. So you could tell. So it's like a lot of times when you could say like, oh, a person is, you could consider someone to have an old soul of some sort. That lingo transpires because of the simple fact of whether if they were learning through other people's experience, they were sitting under older folks getting the experience, or they were also implementing the experience themselves. So therefore, they're getting. So it's two aspects to it. So if you're not doing neither one of those things younger, and then now you're mid-age teens and you're starting to do one side of it, you still got another component to it. So you're still behind. So
that's why
when
they always say it's two ways to learn. Is you learn by wisdom or you learn by experience. So those sitting around those old heads at a younger age, that's wisdom. You know, sitting on this podcast, listening from us. If you're a teenager or you're a young adult, male that's 20, 21, or whatever, and you never been in a scenario, we all been in different scenarios, and we're here preaching and giving you the gospel. Listen, take it, because I'm telling you, this is going to help you not go through the same trauma or the same experience, but you're going to be able to learn and grow from just the knowledge that we spend here.
So that's why I just want to wrap up what I was gonna say on just the rejection aspect. I don't know. I guess we probably go across the table and see how you all feel about it too. But just to kind of tie it up, it's just like ultimately you got to go for those no's. And I was at a point in my life, a very pivotal point in my life as a young man, where I was just like, dude, I was like, yo, getting rejected is tough. Ooh. I
At
was
what
like, bro, I'm
age?
not used to this.
At what age?
Dude, this is probably like 20
Mm,
because I was doing sales, I was doing the insurance and investments.
mm,
So I'm here like, dude, I have to do this. I have to. I gotta do this for me and my family. I have to. I
mm-hmm,
have to go friendship farm. I
mm,
have to go cultivate these relationships.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, damn. I literally remember, bro, vividly sitting there like, dude, the skill set that they have, I've been trying to absorb it. I've been learning. I've been listening to audios. I'm like, damn, dude,
You
gotta
remember how
get
you
it.
took it? You remember how you took it when the family kept telling you no about like
Dude,
insurance
I
policies?
remember it like night and day because it's just like you're learning something and you're just like you're learning something that's the gospel, and this is the way because their very same principle, their core principle is also faith and also being a firm believer in Christ. So it's like they got the foundation, they're pushing the right things. Now it's a matter of when you bring it back to your family. Now you're bringing something foreign. No, you're bringing the gospel to them, but it's foreign to them. So you're like, how am I acquiring the gospel, bringing it to these so-called enlightened Christians, and they can't be receptive to it, and yet it's foreign. But I'm
But you
like,
mature from that, right?
no, 100%. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like the thing is that you go through those things at a very premature stage, but then it's like I was just saying, like I had to push through it. I had to say, like, you know what? I see the strength and the capabilities that my leaders have in them.
Kish, would you agree to that?
You trying to get me in trouble? I can tell. I can tell. You see my expression, and you try to get me in trouble. Like you just.
Bro, you got.
No, but no.
You see right
Despite, because if we're talking about the it's one thing for folks to be able to say, okay, yeah, the message, because that's what I'm trying to say. The messenger at that young age and that tender age doesn't reflect what's being sold. This is what I'm trying to get to y'all. And other people who's coming up and seeing this and saying like, yo, when you know better, you gotta live vicariously through the older folks and then hope that the people that love and care for you, they'll support you and then understand the importance of what it is and kind of help you segue to get bigger. In the other communities, that's how they did it. They went to their family, friends, and things of that nature. That's why it was normal for them. They say it's not about what you know, it's who you know. So for us in our community, for
You're
us to
still
have
trying
it,
to justify your no, though.
say it again.
You're trying to justify your no.
I'm trying to justify,
You're trying to justify.
your
Okay, so
the no's
so
that you receive.
yeah, we're talking about a no. Like, how did that help you grow?
I said I'm trying to justify the no. It's not justifying the
No,
no. What I'm trying to
let me jump in a little bit. Let me jump in a little bit. All right. So I agree with you. Knows help you grow. And the once you stack up the knows, you know, if you're aware, you will know that you're closer to a yes, right? So a lot of times when you're young, you don't realize that knows help you get to a yes, which is great, right? For you to learn. And my sons, at 15 years old, I didn't know that no's could be viewed as a positive thing, you know, that is going to help me to get to a yes. And so I love that perspective, right? My 15-year-old self could have used that advice, you know, hey, take the no's. It's okay because the no's are going to get you to a yes. Um, so, and I love that perspective. It's not a perspective that um, I would say it's familiar to me, but when I think about it, it's a good way of looking at it. And so if you're young, and you're worried about your nose, and hey, I don't want somebody to tell me no. Well, your no's are going to get you closer to a yes. So that's good advice, and that's something that you
What
can,
no mean is
you know,
just means next opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't mean, and that's what people don't understand. It's not a stop sign. It's not a complete stop. Like even when you come to a complete stop sign, you still could go forward. You just gotta yield and look to the right, look to the left. You gotta come to a complete stop, but you still have a segue to go straight, right? So it's like it's not an end all be all, if that makes sense. So
well,
that's what.
and that's great. That's great. With the age and the wisdom, you learn that, and that's great. And that's a great way to put words to it, because like when I was 15, when somebody told me no, I didn't have, my father passed away when I was 5, and I didn't have a male figure that was telling me that, hey, man, it's okay to get no's. Just keep on pushing through. A lot of times, even at that age, I didn't have people that I was able to talk to, older male figure that I was able to talk to that was even looking and trying to give me gems of wisdom, that I
Yeah, I
try to
mean,
do with my
honestly and
son.
truly, man, like I don't think none of us had that, years coming up, because even though Kish, like you guys are older than us in a little bit, right? So you guys could have told us, but you guys didn't even know that yet, because you guys could have told us how to,
Exactly.
how to take a no. I never once got that from you or Rick. You know what I'm saying? So that's also.
Listen, I was trying to avoid the nose. I was
And which most people are.
trying to
I'm
avoid
glad we're
we were
talking
trying to
about
avoid
it.
the, and that's what I said. This is a great perspective to look at it from, because it is true that you take the nose now, you adjust, and then you come back again.
And
I
what's
wouldn't
even
take the
worse,
nose and then not adjust. Adjust it a little bit. See why you're getting the nose. Because that's a good thing too. Because it doesn't mean that if you keep the same formula and just keep on going, you're gonna get a yes. So you may have to adjust a little bit. Adjust your formula.
exactly, you got to get in the game.
So
You got to get in the game. You can't be on the sidelines, because that's all I would keep thinking about when I was in the younger ages was like, man, I kept going in the game. I kept going in the game. And through that, there was a certain level of resilience that transpired from it. And man, people don't realize, but it's essential. You got to get in the game. And as you get in the game, that's where it starts. And you got to stay in the game. You can't come out of it like, ooh, shit was, oh boy, I'm still here.
So
Woo!
you guys, I mean, this is a good segue into, you guys could share with us your experience of like when you guys first started your business, and you guys are two like successful people with your business here, and we want to start with you, Kish. Like, when you first got your first no, when you started out your business working by yourself, like, what was that experience like, and what did you do going from forward from there?
definitely. Well, um, hit us up at impactweldingservices.com, right? And for all your welding needs, that's for one. And when we first started our business, um, we did it on the side. So I think it's interesting how people have different strategies, right? So like we did our business on the side so that if there was no's or if there were no's, you wouldn't notice it as much, right? Because you had another form of income coming in. Um, it's really hard to take those no's or those L's when you don't have another form of income coming in. So it's really, so that was a great to me, that was a great strategy in doing a business on the side, building it up. The money that you make from your business, you could reinvest back into your business, or you could save your money so that you have capital to do the things that you need to do to grow. So despite the fact that I can appreciate and I agree with your perspective about the no's, I went at about it from a different perspective because for me, it was I was at when I was younger, I was very terrified of getting no's or failing. One of my biggest fears in life was failing. And then once you start to um grow your family or have a family, man, you never want to fail those people. So for me, it was always try to be as calculating as I can so that it there wouldn't be a no. So like I said, my perspective was different, and I was very strategic in the way that I did business, and um, how I approach my customers. And so it was more from a calculating perspective of to where I wouldn't get no's, right? So, but I do agree with you that you have to be ready for no's, and when you do get the no's, um, you need to be able to rebound from those and not let that no just break you down.
So Kish,
So I agree with your perspective.
so Kish, real fast, and then we're gonna jump to you, bro. Hey, listen, if you were supposed to give a young guy, right, a advice on like how to start up that side hustle and hold your 9 to 5, what would advice you would give that young male that's coming up right now, or young female? What kind of advice if they don't know how to go about doing it? Like, what kind of advice would you give them?
The main advice that I would give a young person in starting up a business is start. Do it now. Like, don't wait till everything is ready. Don't wait till you're in the best position because you'll never feel like you're in the best position. Whenever you're
Facts.
doing something new, you'll never feel like you're ready
You
to
never
to
feel
to,
you're
to go
ready.
forward. You know what I'm saying? So start and whether it be that you get business cards, that's a start. Business cards
Hmm.
are cheap, so start now, get some business cards, right? If you don't if you're not incorporated, or you're not fully licensed and have all those things, hey, start.
Yeah.
You're doing it on the side. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Once you start, if you get one customer, it's an encouragement for you. Oh, if I can get one, I can get two. You know what I mean? So it's those are the things that you need to do. You need to start, because a lot of times people don't start, and they're always trying to. You, you can tell yourself all kind of crap like, hey, next year, or I need to get this first, or I need to get that first, and then before you know it, 5 years have passed by and you haven't gotten it done, and you know what I mean? So I would say start.
What happened, bro? You over there dying? What happened? Why you laughing?
Yeah,
So
Like,
what
just
about
pull the trigger. Just pull it already.
so what about you,
yeah.
bro?
Oh my god. You know what? And it's so funny, y'all, because I've come across older guys, because I'm 30, as I mentioned, and I come across older guys, and I'm just like, what are they waiting on to pull the trigger on life? You know what I'm saying? When are they gonna actually truly move in their presence of a man? Because like, yo, you were created that way for a reason. So it's like when I'm in the gym, man, and I hear these guys, and I'll be like, dude, they're like, yeah, man, oh well, I'm doing my thing right now, but like, yeah, we could try to do something at a later. I'm like, oh, we could try to do something at a later time, as if you have a better regimen than I do. Oh,
So you
okay.
talking about like a potential client?
Yeah, potential kind, or someone that want to be able to get themselves, because no, my thing is this: it ain't even got to be a potential client, but it's just someone that you're conversing with, like a regular gym goer, and it's just like, man, like you see this far too often, because like, yeah, they want to hold conversations with you and they adore your work ethic and all these different things, but it's like, hey, when are we gonna really go ahead and turn things up a notch? Because this is the ballpark in which I'm in. Like, when are we gonna pull the trigger so you yourself can embody the very same traits and exuberate the level of confidence that you need? So therefore, you're no longer a frail male or a fragile male or you don't come off as such, you know? So that's my thing. But yeah, man, it's
So when you first
man,
started off, in your business, like how did you take your first nose, and what did it teach you in that time?
man, it didn't really give me enough time to really think at that given moment. Because I was just like, man, I have to get people in the door. And I think I kind of realized really quickly, like, man, nothing matters besides getting butts in chairs. Like metaphorically speaking. Like if I can't get no butt in the chair, if I can't get a client to be able to buy off on me, it's like, what are you doing? Um, so it was just one of those things where I created systems to kind of help. Like my thing would happen is that it would just I'll be helping one individual, but then that's all it'll be. So then I started to create systems to be able to generate other leads through this particular individual. Where I'll literally be like, hey, listen, even if I gotta have you on a phone call with me, we're gonna call 3 to 5 of your closest people. All right. You're gonna be like, so I give the person the phone.
So we're
Oh,
okay. Okay. No, I was talking about your personal business. Your personal business. Like when you started your personal business, like what was that experience like when you first went on your own to start your business and you had that no? Like what was that first experience for you like, and what did you do going from there?
Correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, but you're basically saying that like not having clients was like the nose for you. Is that correct,
yeah,
bro?
yeah.
Okay, so that's what he's saying. Like not
Okay.
having clients was a nose
Uh,
for him, and then he needed to develop and build that,
A system and
to
then
where he
create.
would have more
So
clients.
with training people, you talking about training or you talking about the finance ones? Because I did that at first, but
I
then it
mean,
was
either one.
so in fitness. What I said previously was relevancy to the fitness thing, but it was more so like, okay, if I got one person on board, I was just like, it just ended right there. So I had to create a system to where I can be able to create a pipeline to where I can have other individuals. So let's say once this person actually hits their goal, I have 2, 3 other individuals that came from their referral bank that I'm actually working on, whether if it's in the middle of to where they're about to end or at the end of their sessions with me. So I had to create a system through that. So ultimately, it wasn't just the no's. It was just more so like not having the clients is considered a no. So I had to create a system so I could keep people coming through because it's a revolving door. The industry that I'm in
Got
is
you,
a revolving door. So trying to create things. So yeah, that's how I kind of went about
got
it.
you. So for you, when the nose day came through, you created a referral system that helped to generate more clients, um, which is that's business, which is going to equate to better finances. So what
Yeah.
about you, Dre? What about how do you like
Man, dude, honestly and
combat the
truly,
nose?
man, bro, when I started out personal training, man, and I was trying to start my own business, like try to like license it and everything like that, dude, like
Hmm.
I realized I went through more no's than than an ugly girl on a speed date, bro. Like I went through a lot of no's, bro. Like people was like, I'm not signing up with you for that price. Like, why? And so it's like I had to problem solve real fast, man. I had to like, what is it? Is it my pricing? Like what is it? I'm a pretty handsome dude. I'm fit. Like I know what I'm doing. I know my nutrition and stuff like that. But it took me a while to figure out that I had to sit down and properly like educate myself more than just the what meets the eyes. Like a person can see you with a great physique, but what you take to obtain that physique would take someone completely different. And that's what I had to put underneath the microscope a little bit And that's what helped me to grow now as a business owner now. And man, like those no's helped me because if I didn't get those no's, I would think that okay, I got this as a personal trainer. I got this, but there's a big caveat to that, guys. And honestly and truly, like those no's humble me. You know, they humble me, man. Like I remember talking to this lady and I shot her a price. Like it was like ridiculous. I can't even go into it, but it was like it was like 1 on 1 for like it was like okay, I'm not even gonna go on price, but it was like dirt cheap. And she was just like, uh I could do that, but can you train my son? I'm like, she was like, she want me to train her son and her for the same for that same set price, and I was like, how's that? And I was like, she's trying to like finagle me, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, and then I start giving the nose, and then I was like, you know what, man, like this ain't working out, so I had to like apply myself, man, and take those no's, man, because I called her back like a couple days later, and I was like, are you willing to? And she was just like, no, and I was like. And I had to stand on that. I had to learn from that, and understand that this is all part of the process. But it took me in the process, in the time, it's tough. It's tough to take no's, man. I'm not gonna lie, especially when you're doing when you're starting out and you're doing it solo. It's tough. It sucks. It's like a slap in your face. It's like telling you that, oh, I ain't that good, but you know you're good. However, now as an adult and being so many years underneath that no scope, like I learned that I'm not fit for you or you're not fit for me, and that's just what it is.
I think I think that's a great segue when you said that, like, you gave her a dirt cheap price, and then she wanted to, add another person onto that price.
Correct.
And as crazy as crazy as that seemed in the moment, you know, that goes into pricing, right? So like when your business is new, right? Sometimes you have to basically give away your product, you
Woo!
know, just so you could get the customer. Like something is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And then if nobody's willing to pay for it right now, you gotta keep on dropping the price, keep on dropping the price, because it's either you're gonna have customers, you're gonna have clients, you're gonna have money flowing in, or you're not, right? So you gotta, like you said, sometimes you're gonna give your product, basically give your product away, but it gets
Hmm.
your name out there, and it gets you into a door, right? And then to me it's always selling, right? So like one minute you were ready to refuse that sale, and then the next minute you went and ran back to try to get that sale.
Yep.
So for me, when you're a new business, sometimes you got to give
Take it
away
off
your
the jump.
stuff. If you look at some restaurants, just to get you in the door, they give you a free meal when they starting out, and they can't even afford it, right? Because you're a new
That's
restaurant.
so true.
How can
That's
you
so
afford to give
true.
away,
Grand opening,
but
pancakes on us.
exactly, because I'm trying to get your ass in the door, and I'm trying to get you to see what we have and what we're trying to get, what we're trying to
Hmm.
present. And now, once your business grows, that's how a lot of business do. Once your business grows, and then if you have more clients than what you can manage, now your prices need to go up, because I need to be able to make the same amount of money with less clients than what I was doing before. Because now I need to get the clients to go. I need to get the clients to, like. It's not that you're trying to get the clients to stop coming, but you're trying to get quality clients in. You're trying to get clients that's willing to pay more money in.
Hmm.
So now the demand is up. So now I got to raise my prices,
Right.
right? Before, when you don't have a demand, you got to keep.
So
You can
so
almost give it away.
so Kiss just dropped some jewels, guys. So you young mans that's
100%.
coming up, listen. So Kish, you're saying that take the initial offer someone counter you with. So for example, say what?
Or you could give them
Absolutely.
options.
Say one more time.
You can't hear me?
No, no,
I
no, you
said
good.
absolutely. Okay. absolutely you have to take sometimes the initial offer. If it's sometimes, like I said, it's what somebody's willing to pay for it. If right now you don't have anybody willing to pay for it, you're not worth as much as you think you're worth. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Over time you'll build that.
Or how about
But
this skill
right
set?
now,
Skills, right? When we talk about having skills, being equipped, so now you give a person options. Because I recently had something like this, and I was like, I should have gave that person options. Perfect example. I was like, hey, for X amount of days, right? X amount of days. For instance, to give you an example, I'll be like, okay, so let's say for 3 days it's 600, right? Then, they were like, ooh, kind of tight, da da da. I could have been like, hey, I just left it at that, right? You know, but what I could have or what I should have done was said, hey, what we could do starting out because you want to get fonder, we want to see if we're a good fit for each other, right? And see if there's any true value in what it is I'm going to be able to offer to you. So how about this? Let's go ahead and reduce the amount of days, even if it's 2 days or even 1 day. 1 day we'll probably just do 200. 2 days it'll be 400. And then we'll start with that. And then after the first month or so, if you like how everything is moving and you would like to increase the days because you realize that the 1 or the 2 days isn't efficient enough to get you to your goals, then we'll make the necessary adjustment. So I think putting that out there um, to counteract once the person said, "Ooh, that's tight," I think that would have allowed that person to at least be like, at least you're able, and like you say, you're able to build the relationship with that person. Potentially, you could also get some referrals from that person in the meantime while that's going.
Mm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
So instead of just allowing it to just go, "Hey, no, that rate," I said, "Take it or leave it."
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I believe too. Also, like, it ain't everybody gonna be your fit. Like, it's not everybody gonna be able to budget you. And no matter how much you might say, man, this is a great fit. Like, especially in our field, right, bro? Like, we're like, oh, this is a great fit. But then it's like you shot you get them the invoice and they're like, oh man, this ain't what I was. And it's like, that's cool. That's all right. You might not you can't afford me right now, but eventually you'll be able to afford me, and that's just what it is. Like, I'm pretty sure, Kish, like, sometimes you have to, like, somebody come to you and say, "Yo, I need you to do this job," and you price them, and you say, "Yo, man, it's 10 grand," and they're like, come on, man, like, bro, like, and they're like, yo, man, like, bro, you come to the shop, I'll hook you up with some food, bro. Like, can you just go down on the price a little bit? Like, I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
you're like, yo, man, this is the most I could do. I'm basically covering, the traveling costs. You're probably looking out for that person, and they don't even know it. So now, you as an owner, do you cut your labor costs just to help that person out a little bit? Now that in the position that you're in, like,
So
what do you
in
do?
my
What do you
business,
Yeah. What do you do from here?
in my business, there are two types of clients that I deal with. I deal with residents who are spending their own money
Mm,
and commercial clients who are spending somebody else's money, right?
mm,
So those come from those are two different approaches, right? So if I'm dealing with somebody who's spending somebody else's money, I just got to make them feel good because they're spending somebody else's money. There's going to be spent regardless. They might as well spend it on me, right? But on a resident who's spending their own money, then I got to go into when you're dealing with a residential type client, you got to come from this mindset that they're spending their own money, and how much disposable income do they have to be able to spend on this particular project? You get what I'm saying? So then, and then you got to know
so you
what's the
still
lowest
flex
that
the
you can
price,
go.
right?
Yeah, I'm flexible. I'm
Mm.
flexible, especially if it's the slow season, or if there are things that goes into m- my thoughts of my price. So I might have a price that I have like for a commercial client that I know that they want it the way that they want it and they needed to get it done. So that's the commercial. And so there's not really much flex there, meaning that, like, they're spending their money and they want their job done in a certain way. And sometimes I got to wait on them. There's all these other factors that come into play. I got to wait on them. I got to, maybe use a particular type of material. I got it. So there's a lot of different things that come into play for their price. But then for a residential, I could still give a good product and flex a little bit because hey, I do want this job. I like this type of work that they have
Mm-hmm.
to be done. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I like doing this type of work. It's easy for our company to do this particular type of work.
Mm-hmm.
So um so those are some of the factors that come into play. And I know when you're spending your own money, it's it's a lot harder. And it depends on the customer. So like if you're spending your own money and you have it, you can look at the house and see if they have it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? If they have it, you know, then like I said, residential, you're a little bit more flexible because you know whether you want the job or whether you don't want the job.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a B2B, I mean, kind of scenario, and that just like for us in training, like is person to person. So I
Do
get where
you
you're
want
coming
the
from.
client?
Yeah, it's like, do you
Yeah.
really want this client? Are you gonna go down for this client? So I could give you guys a quick tip, and we could go into the next topic here, guys. But and bro, I don't know if you want to try this out, but for your business. But what I started doing is that I started using Stripe. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. It's a paying invoice. So it's like I don't necessarily need to get everything up front, but I could use whatever card you use will be charged in, say you don't have it now and you have it in next 3 weeks, a month or whatever, it would bill you again then. So that is a software that I'm using now, and I use it for all my clients. So, and some people is okay with just paying you up front, but then those people that's not, you could definitely check out using Stripe. It's very easy software to use, man, and nobody they don't have to worry about it. They could just set it and forget it. So, all right,
Yeah,
so
that's good to have. Just to piggyback off of that, that's good to have. Definitely, if you're a small business, you definitely need to, you might not think that you have the resources to spend on a certain type of software, and but you definitely do need like software that you can use to help you. We use Wave, to do our
yeah,
bookkeeping and stuff like that, and we do the
wave,
invoicing through that, and it's a lot more affordable than QuickBooks, and it works out well for us.
yeah,
We also have like another invoicing. Um, it's not really it's to do not your invoicing, but your estimating, or even like for me, I'll go on jobs and I might need to write up a invoice,
hmm,
right, or estimate, and I could write it up in that and then send it to my customer through that. And it's called goal forms. So it's just that you have different types that you need them. It helps,
yeah,
and I'm glad that you mentioned the one that you have going. Mention it
yeah.
again so that they know.
Stripe, Stripe, yeah, it's a Stripe,
Yeah.
just like that, Stripe. Hopefully I
All
could
right.
put the link. Hopefully I could put a link in the description. I'm going to try to do that. But yeah, the next topic, guys. Listen, the next topic is, so did we cover everything in being rejected? Because I don't
Yes,
want to
sir.
make sure we miss anything about those no's. Those no's are important, guys.
It just means
Yeah,
no,
that's a
not
good
yet.
perspective.
So, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so all right, going into 2026, I know a lot of people out there having new goals, new ideology of what they're gonna try to get done this year. But one of the things that we've been talking about is habits, and anyone you guys want to take it over from here?
Go ahead, Ro.
Yeah. To be honest with you, man, it's just I think when it comes down to it, is you got to know what your strongholds are. You got to know what works against you. Um, and what are some things that works for you. Um, so I think being able to just kind of find a system for yourself to determine what is it that's hindering you or what's suppressing you, um, is essential. And I think a lot of times, when I think about it, it's like what we consume, like what you eat, the habits of it in itself, um, that could literally it can really shift your mindset tremendously on what it is that you allow to consume. Like whether if it's the things that you watch, the things that you listen to. Like honestly, like right now, guys, like when it comes down to like my even just on social media aspect of things, like my algorithm, y'all, is loaded with just doctor oriented things talking about the gut health, mental, spiritual, business, finance. It's like it's nothing but that. I feel like there's nothing but substance on there, man. So it's like the more it's like you open up Pandora's box. It's like the moment you become exposed to something, you're like, damn, you want to get rid of all the old ways that hindered you from this new place where you just find that it's just a bundle of light. So it's like you really want to be able to absorb all aspects to it, because you realize that this also in turn is gonna be what's gonna set you free. The wiser I become on understanding on how to create a better habit in this particular area is gonna ultimately set myself free and potentially my lineage. So the better I become, the sharper I become of understanding that is essential. So yeah, I
Okay,
think
makes
I'm just
sense.
trying to understand why you should kind of negate from certain things is essential. Yeah, for your
Got
growth.
you. What about you, Dre? What about you, Dre? You're doing a lot of drinking and a lot
Hey,
of face
hey,
hiding.
I
It
think
looks like.
hey,
What's
hey,
going
hey,
on?
you might want to.
There's
Man,
a lot
bro,
of
like
sipping, y'all.
I got this. No, no, no. Real talk. Like I got this new coffee that I'm trying, and
Oh, you
somehow
did?
it had the grounds in the bottom, and I'm trying to shake it up so I could drink it, but I'm spilling it at the same time.
Even the
No,
grounds?
huh?
You can leave the grounds in the bottom. Even the grounds, you can leave the grounds in the bottom.
I like a little bit of grounds in my mouth as I'm washing it around a little bit, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. But guys, I'm built a little different. Don't worry about it. I drink my coffee black.
Yes, you are built differently.
If you
Yes,
guys know any
yes.
good espresso out there, please DM me. Trust me, I'm always
Yeah.
digging up coffee in the good mix. But any good habits that I'm going into 2026 with is I'm trying to get more spiritually inclined, man. I'm really I'm trying to go to church more often. Try to reach out to family and try to see what everyone got going on. So just mostly like just trying to stay closely as possible, to God, and just kind of try to keep everything in perspective of like, you know, Kish, you being in an accident, like, what I'm saying, like that life, that situation is real. People don't understand. You could wake up the next day and go to the bathroom and trip over and hit your head and boom, you're done. It's a real thing. So I just want to kind of be present as much as I can, and like I said, just try to build a good spiritual habit this year, man. What about you, Kish?
What do you think is driving that?
Driving what?
The spiritual habit, like looking like the
Honestly,
direction
truly,
of a spiritual habit.
honestly and truly, man, is as I age, man, is I realize that everything is a full circle, man. Just like the Bible say, man, in ecclesiastic, man, like nothing there's nothing new. So it's like everything that you're doing already been done, so it's like the only thing you can do that's new is the challenging things, being more inclined to be present with people as much as you can, be more of a doer of the word of just being, godly like, right? Be kind to other, have value in other people's life than just trying to be all about you. So just things like that. It just correlates with just being grateful and gratitude, man.
That's interesting. I think that like you said, age is one of those things that make you consider things that you didn't consider before, and I was just curious what was driving you to that, because like it's crazy. When I was younger, I was more on a spiritual journey. Um, when I was younger, in my teens, and then as I got older, I kind of, it's not that I'm off of it, but I've come to my realization of what I feel like in that realm, and I understand, and I've accepted what I think is right, and then not what my parents think, or not what my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother and the people that raised me think, but what I think, and
Mm-hmm.
made peace with those things. And um,
Well,
I have thought like you know my family, they don't go to church, and we believe in a higher power and stuff like that. But I have thought like and wondered, should I force my kids to go to church? Like when I was a kid, I was kind of. It started out where it was mandatory, where I just went to church, and then um, after a while, we did it ourselves. We just went because
mm-hmm.
they had like a children's ministry that you can be with like-minded children, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was like a teenager thing. We kind of went there, and it was kind of, it worked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
um but then now with my kids, I'm like, I originally started out where I was like, I kind of don't really want them to be influenced by my thoughts. I kind of want them to be influenced by, like, I kind of want them to learn, like, kind of find a path for themselves. But then now I'm thinking like, you know, you have to be careful with that. You find the path for yourself,
Yeah,
because it might not be a path that is positive,
I agree.
And so it's like, as a parent, you always wanna guide your children in the path that you think is right for them. Um, Especially, and I guess religion is one of those things as well, where it's like you want to give them freedom, but you do want to make sure that they're safe, and that they're in the right path. You have some, I would say, Bible bumpers will say, "Oh, you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it that way." But I think that when you look at it from a positive standpoint, it's like, okay, well, I don't believe in that one religion has got it right. I
Right.
believe that they're just, it's God, but it's just in a different forms. You know what I mean? And that was kind of the direction I was talking about. But then, for if you don't want your kids to go down the path, like a bad path, and then be lost.
Complete
You know,
atheist. Like a complete atheist don't believe in anything.
don't
Like they don't
believe in
have no.
anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly. So that's interesting to hear. That's why I was asking about your
No,
perspective, just
no,
to,
no. I mean, dude,
you
like
know.
honestly and truly, a lot of people think Bible bumpers are like it's like, dude, I don't need to hear that. But it's honestly and truly like those people are the most like illiterate people sometimes, and that's why I said you gotta have some kind of antenna up to understand that the doctrine that's spoken, bro, like is different for everybody. How I speak to bro is not how I speak to Kish. It's two different conversations, and then that's what people don't understand. Like people don't understand that your ears filter thing words differently, so that's why I said everybody need to self-study their self a little bit, when it comes on to the spiritual realm, because it's not only your own understanding, but it's like, how do you understand how the moon and the sun works? People don't even understand that, right? Like, no, no, honestly and truly, like people don't even understand that. And I said, do you guys even understand like how oxygen even work? And then people like, that's a good, is it? And it's like, guys, think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it real hard, you'd be like, damn, there is a different kind of form of power at work and people don't even understand it. But if you want to understand stuff, what you need to do, I'm asking you guys a question there. If you want to understand
Oh, I
something,
didn't
what do
know
you
that was a question. I thought that was a statement.
I
What?
really thought it was a statement
I
for
thought
real.
it was a
That's why I was
I
statement.
like,
mean, it could be a
I was like,
statement. It could
question
be a
where?
statement though. It could be a statement, but honest. Mhm.
So I want you to make it as crystal clear what you're saying so the audience can understand. I don't want it to be that
So,
that
yeah,
they're kind
so
of
I
extrapolating.
so when you guys are questioning things in life, like what is your purpose? Like what is this? So and what is people are questioning things. You're gonna get off age that you question things a lot. You know, understand this, right? When you can't find it within yourself, it's because you're being too selfish to understand that there's a different being at work. And nine out of 10, when you're forced to learn like for example, you're forced to learn a religion, you're automatically going to try to be against it because it's too strict, right? It's too much of a boundaries. But that's all what the Bible is a boundary thing. Is just things to keep you in a box or just keep you structure, just like the rules of the land, which is called the law. It's all predicated on just boundaries. But if you're like me and you're a person that's trying to stretch and expand, you're trying to reach over those boundaries, you realize that there's a different being at work. And a lot of people don't understand that it takes more than just what your forefathers was trying to teach you. Nowadays, when social media and everything is in front of you and people are against certain things, you feel that you can't see it. But what it comes down to is self-reflecting and start being trustworthy in the things that you can't control. Meaning that's why I bring up the whole like doctrine about, do you understand how the moon work? Do you understand the angle the earth is on? A lot of people don't even understand that the earth is on a 25-degree angle. Some people don't understand that the sun, right? And how the
And
sun
you're
is
saying that if the angle was any different, we wouldn't be able to sustain life. Is that what you're saying?
exactly. Exactly. Like everything
For
is
people to know
made.
what you're saying,
Yeah, everything is
you're
made
saying that
in
you
totality
believe in design.
of survival. And if you don't understand it, you need to spend more time digging into those stuff.
So you're saying that you believe in design and you believe in the design of the universe from a higher being is what you're saying.
No, I'm
And
not
it
saying I
doesn't matter what you
believe in
call
that.
that.
I'm not saying I believe in that. I'm saying that if you ever question certain things, if you ever question certain things, if you're a person that you
So if you
question
question
things.
it,
Hmm.
so if you question it, are you then trying to like I want when the audience hears what you're saying that
Hmm.
they understand it completely because we could have questions all day, but are you offering any answers that for
No
your belief?
answers.
Not necessarily that this is answers for them.
No answers.
I don't want to be on a podcast that I don't got no answers. I
I
want to
got
hear
no
some
answers for
answers,
you. I
even
got
even
I got no answers for you.
because when somebody gives me an answer, I can say I agree or I disagree. But at the end of the day, it's a perspective. I don't want like I don't want. I find myself in my relationship when when we're doing any projects, I get nothing but questions, but no answers, right? And I love when I get questions. Give me questions, but give me some solutions, right? Give me some solutions. What can we do about some of these things that you're bringing a problem to the table? Not saying you, I'm metaphorically speaking. That person is bringing a problem to the table,
Hmm.
but then give me a solution. I don't even care if the solution is wrong, but give me a solution, right? Because then I have something to like work with, to compare, contrast, to, you know what I'm saying? no, this is why that doesn't work, or yes, this is why that works, and this part of it works, or give me some
But you ever
solutions. That's what the
you,
people. That's what the people
you
are
ever
tuning in
heard
for. They looking for some
you ever
solutions,
heard you ever heard you ever heard you find your answers in your questions?
Find your answers in your question, man. You sound like an eternal metaphor. Like
Bro,
you
Or
should
bro,
how
you,
about
say.
this?
you ever heard that? You ever heard that? Like you find your answers in your questions.
You
Like
should say, man,
like
go through trip
like
style sideways.
therapists
Go back.
therapists don't give you solutions. Therapists ask you a question and then they ask you another question and then you start saying, "Oh,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
a lot of times I know this because I deal with a lot of clients that have like this mindset of like they don't know the answer, but I'm like I keep asking them questions and they're like, "Oh, aha,
Mm-hmm.
Starts.
that's that." And I think that's the best, that's the best teacher, right? The
Mm-hmm.
best teachers are the ones that don't try to give you the ultimate answer right away. They make you problem solve a little bit. Like, hey, ask, why you think this? Why you think that? Why you think this? And then you start putting it, you're like, oh, aha,
Mhm.
that's the answer.
So I agree with that. I a lot of times um when I'm dealing with people or challenges or questions that I don't have the answer to, or people that pose challenges that I don't have the answer to, I tend to, okay, why do you feel this way? Or
Hmm.
why do you think that? Or why do you do that? Because before I tell you no, I would like to know what your perspective is. And I do want to know, what the angle that you're coming from. What are you thinking? What got you um, to this thought process? And so before I say, you're wrong, I don't agree with you, you did this or whatever, but your perspective is your own. You know what I mean? And you're allowed to have a perspective, and it is okay. It is okay for you to view things the way that you view things. And I will agree with you that I don't think that this was just a mistake and it just happened. I do believe that there is a bigger power at work,
Hmm.
and by the way that things are set up, it it would lead me to believe that there is um, intelligence behind it. You know what I'm saying? You can see a lot of math and a lot of that happens in science, and how things come about and how things are built. So
Hmm.
I'm talking about in nature, you could see that.
Right. You can see
And so,
that. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
That- that's why I said I'm a big nerd, but I'm a nerd behind the scene because I'm geeky, bro. I'm geeky like that. Like, I you don't even want to know half of it, man. Sometimes I spend hours just like reading up on things that has no equation to deal with what I'm doing as far as business. And I'm like, why did I get down this rabbit hole? You know what I'm saying? But I
Did
love
y'all hear
things like
about?
those, man.
Did y'all hear about the how last year was the year of the snake?
okay, in the Chinese calendar.
And what does that
What
what
about
does
that?
what does that embodies? And then when you start to put things into perspective and you ask about your own life, it's like, okay, what are some of the things that you shed it off? Whether if it was relationships, associations, habits, what are the things that we shed it off? And now we're going into the year of the horse. So now
So
it's
you're
like,
saying just as a brief, you're saying that like in the Chinese calendar, last year was the year of the snake, and how a snake sheds its skin to be renewed, basically. And so now
100%.
we're going into the year. Go ahead, the year of the horse.
So ultimately, if you want to put it into perspective, it's like we ourselves as human beings should have some way adapted that. And things that didn't serve us or is conducive to our well-being for the next years to come, we should have left it there. Um, and don't go into the new year with those very same things or those very same relations that's not conducive to where you're going your purpose, or to your greater fulfillment of who you're trying to become. And
so from a Chinese calendar, you would say that. So what the year of the horse? We're getting into that. What we gonna be doing now? What's that? What's the meaning of that
no,
one?
I just wanted to know if y'all knew about that or y'all heard about it. Just wanted to, we ain't got
Okay,
to
I thought
dissect
you was
it.
gonna. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, cool. Okay,
I just wanted to see if y'all was fonder of it
okay.
or anything.
So, Kish, what is one of your habits going into this year?
One of my new habits that I
Yep.
am going into this year.
Mm.
New habits. You know, I always hear people talk about stuff like that, where it's like new habits and what are the new things that you're gonna do in this year. And these last few years that has happened, um, you know, I've moved my business from one area to another, and then I've bought a new house, old house that I'm renewing, you know, um, to sustain that. And so it's a lot of the same. I'm doing a lot of the same things that I did last year, and it's building and renewing and um, growing. So like moving your business, you think is an easy process, and I would say that like it is not the
It's a
easiest process because
challenging
you have
process,
to.
bro.
It is a challenging process because as you have developed you've developed your clientele in one area, and then once you move to another area, now you got to find new clientele and start over.
Mhm.
So if you are deciding as a watcher, you're deciding that you are going to move your business to a new area. Be mindful of the fact that it is almost not starting over, but almost like starting over. So that's
Oh
one of the
no,
things
it's
that
starting over.
you
It's
have to be
starting over.
aware of. But I will take this opportunity to make like a side note of like, I was in Fort Lauderdale, the Fort Lauderdale area, and I saw this guy, and I don't know if I told you guys about this, but this guy, he was on the sidewalk cutting hair, and that was his shop, was on the sidewalk, and he was charging $20 a head, and he said, "Look, man, the first cut is free." And I thought to myself, like, and it was in the hood. I was driving through, and it was in the hood, and I was just like, in my mind, I was like proud of this dude because I was like, how some people they come up with all kind of excuse of how to
Mm-hmm.
grow and have a business and
Mm-hmm.
where to start, and this man is starting on the sidewalk, and it was like in my mind, it was like I took a lesson
Wow.
from that,
Wow.
because it was just like, man, I remember there was times when I was like, I didn't know where to go or where to start or where to, how to do anything. And this dude is starting on the sidewalk, like
Right?
have anything over his head. It was starting on the sidewalk. He had one of those little fold-up tables, and he had his fold-up tables, pulled out, and then he had all of his equipment. And you know how it is with shares now; everything is battery powered, so you
You
can
can
pretty
run that
much
thing. Yeah.
you can run that thing on the sidewalk, and you even have like they have these little cubes now, like that you can, it's that you have these little power sources, battery that you can charge one of those little shares. It was just like interesting to me to see him
Bro
starting
got
his
one. Look, bro
business.
got one. Bro got one. See?
Battery packs. Got about two of them things over
Start,
there.
yeah, starting his business on the sidewalk, and it was just like, man, he needed nothing but his basic equipment
So Kish,
and
would you
a
say it's
table and a
easier?
chair.
Would you say it's easier to build a business now than how it was when you first started?
I think it's always easier to build a business, and I think that society has lied to us and told us that, hey, we need to go work for somebody.
Mm.
As I've grown and I've gotten deeper into my business, I realized that like everybody should have a business. Everybody should have a business. I don't um because I think that people I don't I think that people could do
I
it. You
disagree
know,
though, but we're gonna say that for another podcast. I disagree.
that's
But
cool. That's
yeah, but we're
cool.
gonna say that for another
We
podcast.
we'll save it for the next podcast. But you got to remember that you disagreed on everybody should
Absolutely.
have a business, and I think people are
Absolutely.
going to be coming at you, and they're going to come after you for that
Bring the heat.
because I don't know, that goes against everything that you said in the past. So if you're saying that
That
you
that that,
disagree
that
with
does
it,
not go against everything I said in the past.
hey, listen, man, I'm just curious to hear the next podcast because I am blown away by
Bring the
that
heat.
statement.
Bring the heat.
I actually can't wait. I can't wait. And I'm going to remind you about that because that's crazy.
So guys, as we're about to
Controversial.
wrap this up,
That's
we're
why
about
I
to go
say
into
that's
the
controversial.
we're about to go into the last topic here. And guys, that is about just as we age, how do we sustain those friendships and how do we cater to those people that we want to be become friends with?
Um, it's funny you say that, man, because over time, that's why it's good to listen to old audios because it allow you to put things into perspective. Because new age things sometimes it be watered down and they don't give it to you raw. So you got to go back to the source. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we talk about a good old book, you got to go down to the source. They say the Bible could stand for basic instructions before leaving Earth, so we could kind of learn a thing or two, right? So when I think about it, I was talking one of the audios. It tells you about
Which audio
people.
this is?
This was an audio from back when I was in the finance industry. Um, but it kind of broke down to you where it's like, hey, if there's anything meaningful, any relationships that's meaningful to you, you find a way to, communicate on a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? You extend yourself. You know, even if it's 30 minutes, 15 minutes, if that's all you have the capabilities of doing, then you know what I'm saying? Like that call is gonna make all the difference in the world, no matter what relationship we're talking about. Friendship, personal relationship, whether if it's kids, whatever relation we're talking about that requires a human being, do that. Because that makes all the difference in the world as far as the level of closeness that you all have in the bond. Um, and then not only that, don't become too wary of dealing with people. You know what I'm saying? We get to a space where we're just like, I don't want to have to deal with certain people. But it's like that's the core. No, real shit. But this is the core of it. It's like at the core of it is people.
Do
That's
you
why when
have
I
a
hear
relationship that you can mend right now, if you can?
if there's any relationship that I can mend it, it's just a matter of do I want to or not. That's really what it is. So it's a matter of
But
I
you just
have
said don't
to.
get weary, so I'm just make sure I
No, and that's the thing. And there are some that do need to, but I'm just like I'm possibly not ready, to
okay.
embody it entirely. But being self-aware, so you know when you're gonna make that step.
Do you
That
regret a
man,
friendship that you burned?
nah, man. If everything, I'm conscientious with everything, man. So if it got to that point, it really was out of my hands. Like that was literally God's doing because I'm very understanding. So if it got to that point, this was the Lord's sign of telling me, like, yo, this relationship has overextended its time, for sure, and I don't look back.
He was just
So
saying shedding. He was just saying shedding. So he seems like the type to cut people off. I'm done with you. That's a wrap. I'm
nah,
done.
because it's listen where we're going. We gotta wean out the real and the phonies. Like we gotta know who's not gonna be able to waver in their conviction or in their emotions as we go through this thing that's uncertain, this life that's uncertain. But I need that person to be certain about who they are. You know what I'm saying? I can't be having this person like on one side spectrum, like, yeah, I'm ride or die, but oh no, I waver and then I don't really know self. Oh, you gotta know self.
If somebody want to become back your friend, what advice would you give them?
Man, they should have never did what they did to begin with. But I'm saying, um, Nah, it to be honest with you, it's gonna be hard because it's not I'm not that like my energy because when you think about your energy, you're like if this was once something that a person was able to acquire at some point, later on down the line, I'm not going to feel as enthused to give it. So I might just be sitting here like this looking at the person and they're gonna be like, damn man, where's all this energy you used to have? I'm like, no, you killed it. You
Are
know
we
what I'm
listening
saying?
to this guy?
No, but that's no, I'm being honest
You,
with you. I'm being honest with you because I'm not there with that. Like it's one thing to be because it's like you severed
You
that and I
just
don't
said don't get weary of relationships. We need to become a little bit more tougher, hold the grit a little bit longer,
listen,
forgive
bro.
people.
It ain't that deep. It ain't that deep.
he said, just said, he just said we shouldn't get
People are
weary,
in your
but
life. People are
he's
in your
like,
life for a season.
I got,
People in your life for a season. You know what
yep,
I'm saying? Sometimes you can make the phone calls, and sometimes you can't. You know what I mean? And sometimes you think about a person and they call you. But people are in your life for a season. And then what's great is that you have some friends or you have some old friends in your life that you might not talk to them for a year, for years. And then when they call you or you call them, it's like you guys never skipped a beat. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And then you guys are catching up on family and friends and having a laugh, and you could go on for hours. It's just life. You know what I'm saying? People come in and out of your life for different reasons. So,
that's
man,
facts.
you don't have to be cutting people off, and you don't have to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like they did something to me or I did something to them, and whatever, whatever. Man, just hey, live, love, and
Hey,
enjoy. You know what I mean? It's a
so so
ride.
so I was talking to this client this morning, and she was telling me about she setting up new boundaries. She said she's setting up boundaries now because it's says she's setting up boundaries because it's a new year. And in my head, I'm like, we all have boundaries, you know, and some of the boundaries that we set up are selfish boundaries. They're not necessarily boundaries that's going to help you. It's actually selfish because you have malicious intent with these boundaries. So sometimes we need to analyze the boundaries we're setting up because we all could use a little bit of a listen, we all could use a different kind of friendship in our life. If we all try to get the people who are telling us we're doing great in life, what kind of person are we? Egotistical as hell. We are freaking egotistical. Oh yeah, keep me on my high horse. Tell me how good I'm doing. You need people that's going to tell you about your nonsense. You need people that's going to give it to you raw. And a lot of times people cut those friends off because guess what? They can't take it. And that doesn't mean that person don't need to be present, because that you can still keep that friendship. But if it's too raw for you sometimes, distance yourself, but still could keep the friendship. You agree?
no 100% like it's
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yes. I think that the people who are honest with you definitely need those people around you. You know what I'm saying? The people who can be straightforward with you, you need those people around you. And I don't think that just because somebody tells you something that hurts your feelings, now you're gonna cut that off, that friendship off, because that's a good friend and they're gonna tell you the truth. And the truth should never make you cut off a friendship, you know.
Mm.
So I could see I agree with that from that perspective, you know.
yeah.
You were gonna say something, Ro, go ahead.
No, I mean I was just gonna say yeah, man. As long as these folks guys, they have some good. No, like you gotta ask yourself because no, because you gotta
What did he say to
understand
these
like
phone guys? You
say it
call
again.
them phony? What
Phony.
did you call them? You said
Who's?
these guys.
Oh no no no! I was saying no. I was I was just saying like these like just hopefully the individuals are individuals that has they're giving you some insights coming from a place of
Value.
genuinity of value and genuinity, but it's like some folks got some ill intent, more than more than some. So it's like sometimes you have to decipher between what it is that you're being, what you're allowing in your air gates too. So it's like, um, like what may be another person's hindrance may not be my hindrance. So the fact that they're even telling me about something XYZ, it's like at that point that person's projecting. So it's like, yo, I don't need to hear your own very own problems. That's your hindrance. If you would have assessed me properly, and you know me as a friend, then you need to be spewing out things that's in reference to me and my situation, not trying to project um your own personal the hindrance or anything of that nature. So it's like it's someone coming from a a pure and understanding place. I would say we got to be
I don't
mindful.
I don't think you I don't think you realize how that just came out. But like I don't think you realize how that just came out. Like I think that listen, this is a table, right? This is a table, so I can
This
tell
is the
you,
guy's
hey,
table.
this is a table. I don't think you realize how that came out. What I heard.
Do you think
Tell me
as
if this
we
is what you were
age,
saying.
do you think as you age now, Ro, like and Kish, do you guys think you guys have less friendship now?
For sure.
Absolutely,
Okay, so
absolutely. You
do
have
you
less
guys
friends.
so do you guys think you guys need more friends?
Um,
Yes and
finish
no.
my thought, and then I'll come back to the if I need more friends. But the way that sound was that like you can bring your problems to your friend, but then your friends can't bring their problems to you. And the nature of a friendship is that it's reciprocal, right?
Yep.
I can bring my problems to you, you bring your problems to me.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's why I said I don't think you
Yeah, no, no, no.
realize how that
Meaning, no,
sounds.
I was saying like they have to have. It can't be if they're going to give you some constructive criticism. It can't be something predicated off of their own hindrance or their own lenses of what they personally possibly hinder. Give me something from you know me currently and you assess me personally, you see what my lackings are, and
Or
you're
people
giving me
only could
feedback.
give you from their experience.
They
Say
could
again?
only give you from their perspective.
No, what I'm saying is that there's times where some folks will be project. Y'all, are y'all familiar with like when people project?
Well, what I'm saying is that and I think what this is what Dre was getting at is that like Pete. That's why it's really kind of it's gonna roll back to what he was talking about earlier. Sometimes it's good when people do ask you questions. So if they're trying to help you to solve a problem, it's better for them to ask you questions because once they're asking you questions, they might help you to get to the solution that you're to a solution and then to a solution that you're satisfied with, right? Because like when people try to help other people, what happens is that they tell you what they would do with the same vibes that they have, the same charisma that they have, and all these different things that might work for them. But then because you're different and you're your own individual, it may not work for you, right?
Yep.
So so it's great when you give advice to
Hmm.
try to, okay, why do you feel this way? And
Hmm.
okay, have you thought of this? And then kind of help the person to
Hmm.
work through the things that they're thinking instead of like you should do it this way,
Hmm.
right? Because it's just
Right,
different strokes for different folks.
Hmm.
So
right, right. No, I definitely hear what you're saying, and that's what I'm saying. I think if people are wanting to give their 2 cents to people, I just hope that they've done their due diligence enough with the person who they're trying to give their 2 cents on, so therefore it can be receptive on that other person's end. That's all I'm saying. Because there's times, a lot of times, where I'll be interacting and I'm just like, man, this shit has nothing to do with me. Why is it that you're? I'm like, man, like let's stick to this in particularly because I'm trying to grow from this interaction, and it's just like
Right
you're
there,
giving me
that
things that
right there, what you just said, you trying to grow instead of being there for the person. That's why I said a lot of times it's not about you trying to grow in a conversation. It's
about you.
about, yeah, you got to take yourself out of it sometimes and then give a lens, give a perspective. Because sometimes we're so quick to hear what we want to hear, that we don't listen. You know,
Well, I
and
think that a lot of times he's in the growth mentality. Like I think Ro is in the growth mentality, especially in his life right now. Like he's in the, hey man, what can serve me, which
mm,
I don't think that that's a negative in some
mm,
aspect, but I think that when if you're looking at it from being a friend, you know, sometimes like you said, it's not necessarily about you in this moment. But then there's going to be times when it is about you, when you're talking about something that maybe this person can add to your life. But it's not always going to be you're going to find growth through hearing other people's problems and traumas
yes,
and
So
issues.
hit
You
us
will
out.
find growth.
So
yes,
imagine if you're talking, you're conversing with someone and you challenge them in that arena to where you make them think about what it is that they're saying and how they're spewing it out. Because it's not about what we say, it's how we say it, how we deliver it, how we package it. So if you're expanding or you're giving this person a level of curiosity to say, hey, maybe you need to take a step back and see how you delivered the message. So therefore, you can be effective to other people around you. So when I take a look at it and I'm conversing with a person, I'm like, man, if this is the level of interaction that I'm hearing from this person, I can only imagine what other people have to deal with on the other end corresponding with you. So if I'm here trying to give you some insights and say, hey, this could possibly help you be able to kind of mend a relation with other individuals, because already I can tell off the top you're not, it's all about you and your interaction. You're not thinking about how you could be of service to the other individual just based off of our interaction itself. So it's one. Sorry,
No, it's you're talking about a friend though, right?
can be a
But
friend.
so if a friend is coming to you, if a friend is coming to you, they're being vulnerable, right? So they're coming to you from a vulnerable perspective. And they don't want to hear that shit about like, hey man, look how you saying this and you should say it this way or you should say it that way. At the end of the day, I'm saying something to you that first of all, I'm not offending you, I'm not attacking you, I'm just talking about my shit. And then if I hear or if I get the part about like, but think about how you're saying it. I'm not saying that you can't say that to your friend. You can say that, but then it has to be in a direction that it's helping that person. If they feel like in some ways attacking them, then you've lost them. You know what I'm saying? You've lost their ear as a friend, as their friend.
Hundred
So you,
percent.
you could say, hey, listen, I don't feel like I love you, and I don't feel like you're projecting confidence. And maybe that's why you're in the situation that you're in. That's a friend.
But let's
Okay.
say, but let's say you've been
Say,
in a scenario where this person's always has always been, they've always had yes men's around them, or they've always had yes people around them. Or let's say in a woman's particular state of mind, because folks are always trying to abstract things from them. They've always heard things like, "Oh yeah, your thoughts is great," all of that. Oh yeah, they're boosting it, but it was nothing but fluff. Because when you start to hear this person starting to articulate the things, you're just like, what? Like a lot of people let you go through with this ish. Like your level of ideology, it's like, at what point does one person say, "Hold on, let's go back to the aspect of how it's being delivered"? Yeah, you might have good intentions, but the way it was delivered was trash. And we're all going to judge you, and we're all going to perceive you a certain way predicated on how it's delivered. So if you can't deliver a message properly, the world don't owe you nor me no understanding. So when I'm here trying to help a true friend properly, trying to navigate through their connection, their connecting capabilities with other people, it's like, come on. Who is going to be the one that's really going to get under the surface and be like, let's get under this car, let's get under the hood and see why it is that is people aren't able to be as receptive to you, or aren't being able to be as in tune with you or not. And it's like, okay, well, if you're so fixated on self and not thinking about how you can be a little bit more selfless, then how is the dynamics going to work?
so I think that goes along with what Dre was talking about with old friends and how can you maintain old friends and stuff like that. Like when at your age you're having new people into your life and in your business you're having new people constantly that you approach from more of a friendship level because if you're there training somebody, you're gonna have intimate moments with that person. So you know what I'm saying? That relationship could be viewed as it's coming from a friendship level. But they may not be your friend because they're your client. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying those two things are exclusive, but what I'm saying, it could be misconstrued that they're your friend when they're your client. But a lot of times, you know, we was just talking about Bible and stuff, and a lot of times some people are unequally yoked. And it sounds like you know, it sounds like the perspective that person is coming from, if you're on a different wavelength than that person, then you guys are not really gonna be able to advise each other, and
Not compatible.
you know, you're not really compatible, you know. And so that, like you said, that might be something that's gonna be shed at some point, and that
man,
friendship or that relationship isn't gonna last very long, you know. Because your friends, I think your friends, as you get older, you start to realize like your true friends, like you guys, there's nothing, you guys are going to disagree. That's just the nature of human, right? You're going to disagree, but when you do disagree, it doesn't feel like there's been a rift between the two of you. You know what I mean? Those are, to me, those are your true friends in life. And so if you feeling that like, man, I don't even want to hear what this person is saying, it's probably not a friend, it's probably more of a client. Is that correct, or am I even off with the
no, I
client
think
person relationship that you have?
no, I think you're right, man. Because, but it's funny because the client and friendship relation is in my field. I don't want to dive in too much because I think we kind of spill it over. But like, to me, I think in sales is basic. Make a friend, make a sale. People buy from people who they like.
You
So,
said make a friend, make a sale.
bro, this is what we did. We would conversate.
This
Hey,
man
man,
is
you
this
like
man
this?
is always
Small
selling. He
talk,
is selling,
compliment.
selling, selling.
Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. It is what it is, y'all. So we get in what we fit in. So my thing is this: like, if you're a person, you're uplifting them, da da da. Then before you know it, then they're gonna be like, man, you know what? I like some of the attributes that you have, and then they themselves is living vicariously through you, and you are living vicariously through them because of probably their profession that they're in or whatever. But you guys click, and then you make it happen. But it ain't gonna happen if you ain't no friend. Like, I ain't never
Those
had
are
a sale where.
associates.
Say it again.
Those are associates. Like you know, you have a relationship with them, but they're not your friends. They're associates. You know what I'm saying?
But that's
Because
what I was gonna say. It might be because it could get to a point where you're just like, yo, listen, nah, man, you, this ain't this. Because if it was just associate, you could just let it. How many people stick at a job that they don't even like working at? Years. But that's what I'm trying to say, y'all. It trickles over a little bit more where it become a friend because now you're like, whoa, oh hell no, I gotta sever this ish because this person think that things is sweet, or they think this is just they think it's a job of some sort where they could treat you however they want to, outlandishly speak however they want to, and this relation or this business conduction is going to continue on, and it's like no, you know what I'm saying? Because that's your level of it's like how can you disassociate yourself from the brand when you are the brand itself? So it's like if you stand for something, it's either you stand for something or you fall for anything. So my thing is if you don't stand for anything when it comes down to the lines in which a particular individual can cross, like yeah, I'm here to be used but not abused. So once people start to abuse this
well,
bond,
you're saying that
not
there's boundaries. You're
yeah.
saying that you're saying that in your work relationship that you
Mhm.
would like to create boundaries so that your clients, they don't cross those boundaries,
And
and
that's what I was just trying to say. Like if
you as a friend, because of how you presenting as a friend, to keep to develop or have that client like
for long term.
want to come to you for
Mhm.
long term. Yeah, so you develop like a friendship, but then for you, you're saying that, you guys might have boundary issues because, they feel
They
like they
become
can bring
abusive.
everything to you.
They become
Well, I
abusive
don't think
and
they
think
would
you're
use
just
that word, that they would say that they're abusive, but I hear what you're saying.
yeah, no, it's cause think about it. You're being used or abused. It's like it's to be spared or spared. And when we start breaking things down in life, like okay, is either I'm gonna spare this individual or I'm going to be spared. Like when we
Can I ask you a
really start
question?
looking, I'm sorry,
Can I ask you a question?
talk to me.
When you have these clients, right? Do you then cross boundaries as well? Because like now I'm assuming that these clients are spending with you, so they have disposable income. So then now that they have disposable income, are you guys doing other things that are not client trainer relationship like? And then so now um you're now you're now things that that person brings to the table. Does that ever happen?
He's basically asking if you have sex with your clients.
No,
No, I'm not asking if you have sex with your client.
I'm
That is
teasing.
one of
I'm
the
teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm
things.
teasing.
I will say this though.
Why are you drinking your coffee?
I will say this. There's a spiritual warfare. No, no, listen. There's an audio that I have, y'all. It's called "Spiritual Warfare in Business." Hear me out. Hear me out. Spiritual warfare in business. If I ever get a chance, I'll send it on over to you
What?
guys. It is worth the
Oh,
listen to. By Bill Orender, if I'm not mistaken.
Bill Horrender.
So Bill Orender.
Virtual warfare in business.
So the
It-
thing about it, man, it's real, and that's part of the reason why I think early on starting the business, I realized how it's almost like this, right? If you give a person, it's like a child. You mess around and give a child access to something too early, boy, that's gonna be your tail, right? And these adults that I come across, these grown women, it's like, okay, if you give them the candy too early, you may not never see them again. So that means if you go
The
ahead and
candy.
pay
So
that,
you are. So you're saying that.
hold
So
on,
you're saying
hold
that
on,
it is
hold on,
okay to have
hold
sex with
on.
your client.
What's
Wait
going
a minute.
on?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
We
If
go. We
you
gonna have to
choose,
say
hold
that for
up.
the next
If you
podcast. This
choose
is
to,
crazy.
if you choose to or not, and obviously we gotta keep into consideration. We gotta keep into consideration if they're single or not, right? So if you choose to or not, or if they're single or not, which I would hope that it's a single individual, and if you do choose to, it's after an extended period of time,
I wouldn't
because
even.
or else you won't get the results out of that individual that you need because they need time. They don't need somebody pressing up on them and then distracting them and knocking them off and knocking them off of their pivot. So that's the part where I have to have discernment in. You see?
So
So
at first, I wouldn't have even insulted you with that question.
That's what I
Clearly,
say,
Dre
guys.
does not feel.
I'm teasing.
He's making that statement. Yeah, don't have sex with your clients. But on top of that, I'm saying I wasn't even talking about sex. I was talking about more like, you guys hanging out outside of, work, outside of the structure of
now I will say this.
client coach.
I, I will
Like,
say this, right? I have done those in the past. Um,
mhm,
and like
which
I
is
said,
expected.
say it again.
It's expected because you're growing. After you get bitten by that a couple times when you go, you know what? I don't need to be
Right,
mixing
right. You
this.
start
Kish,
to
Go ahead.
realize that
hey,
you
Kish,
can't be that. You can't.
Kish. Have
Yo.
you ever took one of your clients out for coffee?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I charge to the business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Hold on, hold on, hold on. What
I,
do you mean? You charge what you spent on the coffee and stuff, or just breaking the boundary
yeah,
of
if we go
taking
out to
them out?
lunch, if we go out to lunch, No, he's just saying that in what he's trying to say, because he set it seems like he tries to set us up. But what he's trying to say is that, like, if you're a business and you take your client out to a
I
coffee,
never
then
try to set y'all up. I never try to set y'all up.
that's more than just a business situation. But me taking a client out to coffee is a part of business. You know what I'm saying? Me
Exactly.
me investing me investing in a client or spending money on a client is a part of my business, right?
Hmm.
It's just what it
Same
is.
here. I take them out for
Just
coffee
so
and
So
donuts.
so see,
coffee and
maybe what
donuts.
you were saying.
Whoa, donuts, not Mr. Healthy Man. What the what the hell? What the hell?
No, you gotta read the underlining of what he's saying right there. Of like taking a client out to coffee and maybe some donuts. He's talking about like a date.
But check this
Hey.
out.
That
Check this out. This is my thing though, right?
Uh-huh.
I have I have extended myself to some people, some clients that they were in time of need. You know what I'm saying? Like they were at their darkest time. Most of the time when they start out.
All right, this is getting X-rated, guys. Listen, we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah,
We're coming on. We're
time
coming
of
up on.
need.
We're coming up on a hour and 40 minutes. Come on. All right, so hey, so listen. So I'm gonna wrap it up with this, guys. Like, honestly, truly, it's been great. It's been fun, man. It's always fun talking with you guys, man. Listen, just to piggyback off what you guys were saying real fast is that sometimes sometimes people will come in your life, man, and then once they finish with what they come in your life for, man, they will leave. And it's nothing personal,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
true.
what, like, sometimes people don't understand that. Like, sometimes people come in your life, and once their purpose is fulfilled, man, you just see, like, they just start distancing themselves, and you like, damn, like, you just feel that space, and you're like, wait a minute, you kind of need that person, but you don't need that person because that person don't fulfill what they needed in your life. A lot of times we get around clients and we don't realize that we're there for a purpose. And if that client hire you for a reason, don't mistake it for friendship at first or down the line, because remember, they came for a reason. Now, if it goes beyond that, that's understanding, but always keep one thing in perspective. That person didn't just buck you on the road and say, let's be friends. This person came with a purpose. And if that purpose is fulfilled and that person start distancing themselves, don't feel in a way. So let's just keep that in mind at any times we're trying to build a friendship, is that you got to also ask that person, like, where do you see this relationship going down the line? It's good to ask people. People are scared to ask people and timid. Ask them, hey, do you see us having a friendship other from this? Do you see us building and sticking around each other for a long haul? Like, instead of people are quick to say, oh, that's my best friend. And it's like, no, weirdo, I'm not your best friend. Like, let's be real about it. And those people who are actually doing that are people that are sometimes just not confident with themselves to just ask, what is this relationship? Ask, check in on it. Sometimes people will lie to you, check in on it, and see where it's at. So
But
I
if
think it's
I'm a
all.
dude at the gym and you go, if I'm a dude at the gym and you go where this relationship is going, I'm gonna think you're the weirdo. You know what I mean? I hear you. Where's this
Hey,
relationship going? You're hanging
where
out
we
for a
Hey,
while
going,
right
hey,
now.
dog?
hey,
I don't
you
even
over there
know what you
pressing?
said.
I got love.
Hey, Kiss, you over there inclining, and I'm coming, yo, bro. Like, where's this relationship going, bro? And you like, yo.
Where are we? Where do we see
What?
ourselves in a year from now?
Nah, 'cause I know some people are afraid to ask these questions, but I'm not afraid to ask these questions, you know?
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
I'm coming straight. I'm coming straight and raw. I'm like, hey, man, it's been some time now, man. Where's this relationship going, man? And if I'm gonna spot you, I need to know. You know what I'm saying? But honestly and truly, man, it has been a pleasure, man. And like I said, sustaining friendship is important, man. And like I said, sustaining brotherhood, like we have here on the podcast, man, the God's table, is a pleasure, man. This thing just only what it's only been like what 6 episodes, like, and we're constantly going to try to put out raw, candid topics and talks, So I appreciate you guys for tapping in, man. Any last words you guys have, or?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely would love.
Go ahead, Rick. Go
Hey, big
ahead.
dog, you got it, big dog. Hey, I come in peace. I come in peace.
Listen, like I said,
You got
hey, I agree. Friendships, sometimes friendships are for a season. I agree with you on that. People come in and out of your life. And, um, just remember that for the older cats out there, you know, you get to a certain age where you can't make old friends. You know what I mean? So I say maintain those relationships and those friendships, because, you get to a certain age where you can only make new friends. But you can't make good old friends, so keep those friends, people that have been in your
Oh,
life
that's
that have
solid. That's
been
solid. I
around with
just
you for
caught
a
that.
while.
You caught that, bro? You caught what he just said?
oh yeah.
That's crazy.
So, keep those relationships, maybe call somebody that you haven't heard from in a while and, chop it up with them and just say, hey, what's up? I was just thinking about you. That's what we think about people that we have relationships with and we never really follow through with it and go back and, hey, let me give this person a call, see how they're doing. Because you never know. You may be able to have a nice afternoon conversation, just checking up on an old friend. So, yeah, definitely. I think that that's important. So that's what I got. What you got, bro?
Yeah, nah, trust me, man. I would definitely love to just say, yeah, just be on the awareness. 2026, just be aware. Um, do a lot of self searching. This is the year of rejuvenating and renewing your mind, your body, and soul. You see what I'm saying? You have to be in alignment in all aspects, or else you're out of it. And if you're out of alignment, you're out of your purpose. And if you're out of your purpose, what good are you? You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that everybody continuously, try to find their way and navigate through life so they can be a wholesome man and a wholesome woman. So that's the name of the game, yo.
How do you put wholesome when you start running with your chest? Like I don't get how you put wholesome with that.
Wholesome
Like
meaning like they
it's
man
like
as a man to be a wholesome guy, and a
moving
woman
your chest and you talk about wholesome. Like that doesn't just
like a man should be able to do this. You know what I'm
let's,
saying?
let, let, let's get off this program, man. You heard from this impact. Let's just call it a day
Yeah.
because I don't know what's going on with his chest. His chest is rebelling against him. That's what's going on. Like it's like he's going in one direction with a wholesome direction, and then his chest is going into a rebel direction. What's going on here?
The
What's happening?
gigolo. He's a gigolo. Strip tease. Strip tease from one and only Rotastic.
Lord, let's yo
And that about
people
it,
out there,
guys.
people out
Stay
there,
up, stay
we're out.
strong.
Once he's dancing, we've lost it. I'm done. I'm out.
Peace,
It's
y'all.
gone.
Much love. Much